Oh, okay. Let's grab something to drink and we'll talk about Ryobi tools. Don't leave just yet. So when I got Ryobi tools, I'm just starting out this business at the time. Wasn't attempting to like spend $300 or $400 per tool until I knew what this was going to be. And then as I started to need upgrades, the best route was to go with the batteries I already had. And then I just started buying the tools by themselves. And it just kind of been this snowball effect over the last, my wife was letting me know we're actually in our 4th year where I just haven't felt the need to actually upgrade to anything other than Ryobi. But I thought at the very least what I would do is show you guys every Ryobi tool that I have, good or bad. And then also, I guess we can talk about which ones I'd like to upgrade first. Because there are some that I would prefer not to have the way they are. And probably one Ryobi tool for sure that it's definitely overkill. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll start with everyone's favorite. My angle grinder. When I brought this up before, I knew I was going to get flack for this because I know this is a very useful tool. I don't use it as often as I would think, but I do find myself using this more than this. A planer. Very rarely do you want to use this on a door. That's kind of what I initially thought I was going to use it on a lot. There's been like maybe 2 houses ever where truly some wild settling has happened and I needed this to get the door to fit. But that was kind of it. Heat gun, pretty self-explanatory. Again, just not something I use that often. Sander, I know some of these are a recap for some of you guys. When you need this, it's awesome and very useful. My reciprocating saw. Only reason why I don't use this as often as I do, let's say, my chainsaw, is the weight. They have a version of this and it's much smaller and less heavy. You're supposed to 2-hand this tool, which is fine. Sometimes you got to reach somewhere and you're not going to use 2 hands. And once it cuts through whatever, it wants to fall down. It's fine. If you're safe, you're going to be fine. This is not a tool that you would let someone use without supervision. I mean, that probably applies to anything that cuts. But some tools are much more safe than they feel. My just general drill, I don't use this as much because most of the time I use the impact driver. This thing's all rubbed away. I got a DeWalt bit on there, that's funny. Only thing I would say that I don't like about Ryobi is the size of the battery. This is their general battery size. Other brands like Milwaukee and DeWalt have a smaller battery that they've kind of upgraded to. I think sometimes the orientation of this battery can get in the way of the tool being more or less effective. Now we're getting into like the tools I probably use the most. Oh wait, I know how useful this tool is. I don't use it that often. However, the moment I said that I don't use this that often, I found 4 jobs where I needed this. Jigsaw. Now, this I have replaced. One of the first things that I wanted to do with the business, I didn't want to increase any hazardous scenarios happening, so I got rid of all my wired tools. And this was one of the wired tools that I had to replace. All right, so this is that overkill tool I was talking about. Regular Caulk guns work just fine. This gets a lot of use. The value point maybe is I have a slight speed difference than using a different one, but it's slight. This might be up there with the circular saw and the impact driver. Those are probably my 3 most used tools. All right, so here's a crazy one. This is just a 6-inch chainsaw, hand chainsaw. You'll notice this is really dirty. I use this for one job, pretty much. Yes, I trim trees every now and again, nothing big. But what I use this for most often is removing bushes from people's yards. I watched one video where a guy uses a chainsaw. He has a little 6 or 8-inch chainsaw, but if you stick this in the ground and kind of go around the bush, then you can basically pull the bush right out of the ground. My 18 gauge brad nailer. There's loads of videos on how awesome this tool is already. I don't need to get into it. I love this thing. My multi-tool is amazing. Probably the only thing I keep out over here is just a bunch of blades. And I wonder if I have it in here. This right here, this is great for cutting caulk around the sides of windows. If there were jobs where I would need a bolt cutter, and I don't know if you've ever had to use one of those, they suck. Ryobi makes one that's automated version or a mechanical version, and I was like, I guess I might need that. I got like a job where I needed to cut a bunch of different things. I thought I would try this out with one of the different blades, and it was like, oh. This is my circular saw. I probably use this the second most of all my big battery Ryobi tools. It's never failed me. I changed the blade, we're good to go. On to the next one. I lose this thing all the time. It's probably somewhere in this catch-all. Right now there's a metal cutting blade on it, and sometimes I just forget and cut some wood with that, so sorry. These are my cleaning tools, so I use these to clean my messes. Yeah, it's the compact series. This one's amazing. It's crazy how comfortable and useful this is. And then I have a little vacuum. I try to keep the vacuum and the blower one of my most ready tools, not because I use them so frequently, but because I want to eliminate any barriers to entry for me cleaning anything. I have a small van, and so it can get dirty really fast, and then I'm basically screwed. Let's talk about small battery tools. This is my first electronic screwdriver. I got it, didn't use it as often as I thought I would. Then I needed it for something very specific, like I put up, 4 ceiling fans in a day or something where I was up on a ladder and I wanted a lighter tool, and then I started using this a lot more. The only dig I had was you had to charge it via a wire. So I had like a plug-in up front, and I would just charge it with this, and every now and then I'd forget or something like that. Ryobi started coming out with these USB lithium batteries, versions of the same thing, and they came out with this. Now this one's nice because it has a right angle hookup and an off center hookup. These take this chargeable battery, which this I love. And with that kind of came a couple other chisel. I also have a flashlight that I use, but these are like my small tools. And they've kind of slowly but surely, the better you get at these types of jobs, the more comfortable you can do your job with kind of less. If you're smart, you know what you're doing. So a lot of times this is the only drill that I need for a lot of different jobs. I can tell if I need to drill into something, then I would want something more powerful than this. But this one is significantly more powerful than this one was in the first place. You really never need this tool until you really need this tool. This will blow up your tire. I think everyone thinks it's just for like basketballs and stuff. This is one of those, I need a tool like this so I can make sure I get home. This is one of those tools. And the other one is this bad boy. This has gotten me out of so many completely shitty scenarios. When I first got this van, there was about a 6-month period. Couldn't find the time to go get a battery. And so I had to constantly jump my own van on the side of the road, at a person's house. The straw that broke the camel's back and made me buy this was a scenario where I had, let's call it a rude client. Him and I had to exchange words. And then immediately after I was supposed to leave, my van died. And I needed him to jump my car so I could leave. It was mortifying. Again, this is a tool that gets me home. Really, you're never going to need them until you really need them. Oh, here's one for you. Now, nobody laugh. You're going to say it doesn't work. No way will it dig through the hard dirt of my neighborhood or town. We have red, hard, old clay, rocks in the ground, roots. This thing has been far more surprising than I expected. But this works with the 18 volt 1 plus battery system, which is crazy. I think I've probably used this 10 times and it's been fine. And every time I'm surprised. I kind of think it's not gonna do so good. You want to read the manual and you want to use it appropriately. It's got a kickback system. It also turns itself off when it's getting too hard. Anytime I use this, I also have a post digging shovel. I also have this crazy long crowbar. It's like a pry bar from like medieval times. Between that and this, I can dig posts all on my own, and I'm not lifting a heavy tool. This has been super surprising. I'm by no means a Ryobi fanboy who is a ride or die Ryobi only. It's just kind of has happened to be that way. I think if I had started out and money wasn't an option, I probably would have gone like DeWalt or Milwaukee like everybody else does, because they have a bunch of nice other stuff. I don't necessarily like Ryobi's organization shelving system, but I had batteries already, and so I started buying those tools, and that kind of just led me down the path of just being a person with a bunch of Ryobi tools. Hopefully what you guys can garner from this, there's a possible way for you to do work with the tools you probably bought because you're trying to be cheap. One of the comments said it perfectly, and as a matter of fact, I'll read it. I only upgrade to Milwaukee if I use a specific tool a lot, and the Milwaukee would shave time off my job. I also feel like Ryobi is good if you need a random tool but don't know how often you would use it. Not to mention, Ryobi seems to innovate very often, while the pro brands are slow as to update anything. That's perfect. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my Ryobi tools. Take with that what you will. Let's talk about it in the comments. If you guys know of any tips or tricks regarding your tools that you use, maybe Ryobi or not, please let me know. And then also, if you've had experience with some of your Ryobi tools and then upgraded from them to another one specifically and had a much better experience, I would love to know. Hope the lighting is better this time around, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much for all the love and support. Oh yeah, we hit 1,000 subscribers. That's crazy. Thanks guys, seriously. I just don't know like really where to go with that. But see you in the next one. Peace.